My name's Toby Smith, and I've got 18 years experience in producing and using editorial photography as an impactful tool for environment and social change on local and global narratives. I'd like to share some project case studies and experiences that I hope anyone using photography for climate storytelling can emulate. So I spent much of my early career on the ground, near and far, as a photojournalist for global media. Focused on real-world impact, I quickly learned that collaboration can be all-powerful. This story on illegal rosewood trade from Madagascar saw my images published widely, work as a toolkit for NGOs, evidence for the US Fisheries and Wildlife Service, which led to the successful prosecution of Gibson guitars in Madagascar. But fatherhood and a frustration with the values and ethics of the media industry caused me to ask some hard truths as to how effective I was. Does the world need another stereotype? Another white European photographer parachuting in to make content for Western media on a strict time budget? I was lucky, given an opportunity to step back so I could reflect and use that privilege and experience to make a shift into being a strategist, fundraiser, and co-designer on larger projects than my own work. Plus sourcing, commissioning, and sharing photography from closer to the story, often in country and local if you can. Working at Climate Visuals was also an opportunity to consider the evidence as to what really makes effective content with different audiences, and using that evidence base to challenge the media gatekeepers. Furthermore, I'd encourage you to listen to others, generate new research and guidelines for all communicators, share your knowledge. How can we be movement generous rather than working on exclusive assignment terms? And I'd actively encourage commissioners and photographers to think the same way. I realized quite quickly that having an inside understanding and ability to positively disrupt photography, social media, distribution, algorithms, and public engagement could be more valuable. You might have insights and become more unique than simply producing more content for the machine. Think about boosting the reach and impact of content of others across media, or guerrilla tactics to level up with corporate ad spend, for citizens, for climate action and climate justice. But photography is a really rapidly evolving medium, especially with AI, but it's still a universal language, universally appreciated and largely trusted. Its simplicity, value, and potential as a communication and policy tool is relatively untapped still, in my opinion. How can creatives, rather than compete with each other with reduced budgets, find rich interdisciplinary space across sectors, team up to move hearts and minds? In 2023, I took a big leap of faith into a new country and context, joining the Belfast Photo Festival as a director of development. It's an innovative, nimble, and effective organization that over 10 annual festivals, despite COVID, has specialized in bringing international work to Northern Ireland, powerfully showing exhibitions in open spaces, not exclusive white cubes, to folks not normally engaged in arts, culture, or environment, those outside the green bubble. As a quick, humble context, there's a rising tide of public engagement with climate and environment in Northern Ireland, yet competing politics and social issues and regulatory deadlock has meant we're a bit behind much of Europe on climate awareness action. So what an opportunity for intelligent engagement with the media. So in this context, we co-designed and convened with advisory partners from across conservation, campaign, and environment groups, not neglecting academia or policy scientists, to listen, learn, build, and raise funds for a modest but scaled project to address real needs entitled Visualizing Northern Ireland's Natural Heritage. Guess what the project's going to do? We're delighted to be underway, funded to the tune of £140,000, just over 180,000 US. For the fundraisers or designers among you, it's equally split between organizational overheads, commissioning of photography, but importantly, exhibiting and promoting their work to have legacy. In the background, you can see Joe Laverty's work on the crisis of toxic algae of Loch Ness. But rather than narrate what I can see in the images, they're going to serve, I hope, as an attractive background to a few tips I'm going to leave you with. What works, what doesn't? Flexible concepts that I hope anyone can use. I'd like you to co-design, collaborate, decentralize the design and leadership, focusing on the impact you want media to have. Find the rich space between sectors and the funding, between creative, campaign, science, and media. Identify lack of representation and the lack of quality in your field and aim to fix that, not just producing more content. Go even deeper when underway. Work with local experts and creatives. Drop the egos. Work with photographers and communicators that are story and access driven. Pick your visual battles. Not all stories have a visual component. I love and know photography's strengths, but critically know its weaknesses too. Too abstract stories, too process driven, drop it. Focus on a shot list, the things you need. Be inspired but not distracted by aesthetic beauty. Don't look too far into the past, maybe stay in the present. It's as close to the future as most photography can get. Be representative, gender balanced, and lived experiences really matter. Be positive in telling stories. Let a subject or a story depict itself. What does a community or individual need from your work? Show real people. And when you're with them, seek true informed consent. So the sitter or landowners are on your side and want to be published, not wanting to litigate afterwards. But importantly, design legacy and community power into photography projects. I'm proud in Northern Ireland that it's the communities themselves are steering the exhibitions, where they're published, and in sometimes permanently installed for decades. But it's photography, it's an art form. It's okay to enjoy the journey and the challenge. No one said it was going to be easy. But look, you know who I am now. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need a little help along the way. Thanks, everyone.